Good morning. Welcome to Sunrise Stroll and Chat here at Magdala with Mount Arbel in the background, its majestic cliffs, its wonderful caves, these beautiful gardens. At the Sea of Galilee, a restaurant waiting to be built, completed. Artwork. Fish. And this is also artwork, ceramics from the 1st century. So you just touch one of these here and put your finger in one of those little cup holders or pot holders. And on the other side you have a finger from the 1st century. You even have sprinklers working. Trees. Look at all the work that went into that palm tree. All those branches were cut over the years as it grew. They weren't just left hanging there to be broken off by the storms. So where am I going with all of this? What's the point? Just closing a door here so the air conditioning isn't coming out into the garden. What's the point? What's the story? Look at this, the fruitfulness of the palm tree. What's the point? What's the point? Anybody want to help me? Anybody want to help me? What's the point of all this story? The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Now, for sure, there's a difference between what we just saw and up there on the mountainside. While no one on this planet, no human being invented DNA and all the biology before us. Imagine all the workings like these. These plants work like computers. And they even regenerate themselves through the seeds from those beautiful flowers. There are a few left right now. And they will grow and cross-fertilize and produce another healthy tree. Many healthy trees. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Now, it doesn't mean we have a blind eye to all the troubles and the evil that's present. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Look at that fruit coming along here. These are dates. Can I invite you to a date? Every one of those is a date. These are not going to grow very big actually because they weren't trimmed, so I think the birds are going to have a feast day. Whereas others were selected and trimmed, and so they grow much bigger, and it's a more practical harvest. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. There are lots of mountainsides in the world, and a couple of people could make a living hunting the wild boar, grazing a few cows. Or then you can have a little farm in Denmark, and 20 acres when I was a child, 19 acres, 21 acres, and they were able to make an incredible living on that little plot of ground and produce food for a lot of people. Just amazing. Amazing all the work the artists have done through history communicating this goodness. And the sun is right here, people. The sun is right here. Let me do something for you over here. There are undoubtedly lots of troubles in the world, but the earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. It's full of the goodness of the Lord. And then the role of the human being. In a certain sense, each human being, each one of us, each human being on the planet, we are a fullness of the goodness of the Lord. More than a tree, more than a flower, more than a forest, more than so many realities that are beautiful, more than a lake, more than an ocean. And with all the gifts we have, we can cause damage, or we can multiply the good. We can bring order, to rule and dominate. Dominate not in the sense of destroy and crush and break and dictate. Dominate in the sense of order. Like those flowers back there in the garden. Arrange, combine, graft trees, breed cattle, sheep, understand the DNA, heal illnesses. The earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. Exercise compassion. And you have, I imagine many of you have lovely flowers, or a garden, or a cat, or a little dog, or whatever it is, a little fish in a fish tank. And you see so much goodness, they give you so much delight. But then there's your spouse. There are your aging parents. There's a child. There are smiles, tears of joy, accomplishments, moments of great tension and difficulty and trouble that were resolved with beautiful reconciliation and goodness. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. While I remember here is a sign, and people were asking what's on the signs yesterday. Well, the signs are making a statement that you shouldn't swim here. They're old signs, they're here before us, and they're probably liability disclaimers. You're on your own risk if you go to swim. To contemplate nature, and if you were a scientist in a lab with high quality equipment, and you could go into one little piece of dust or one little grain of sand, and what would you have? You'd have the whole atomic order and the subatomic order. And then if you were good at technology, you could organize that, and you could bring out from the smallest little piece of material, you could bring out a magnificent amount of energy to light up a whole city, to fuel factories upon factories. So from the smallest level to interplanetary travel, can you imagine? You have the earth filled with the goodness of the Lord. And you look at this flower and you say, wow, filled with goodness. And all that beautiful red, and you have those little white spots, but that's where the fertility is. And that's where the seed will come. And that's where the next plant will come. If the flower never had a seed, it would be good and beautiful, but it wouldn't be filled with goodness. So there's a whole process that's also good. And the process of the seasons and the times and the nature. The earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. One of our people today has bad sciatic nerve. And the sciatic nerve is great until it causes trouble. And it's still great because we need it. But obviously there are major problems when the sciatic nerve is causing trouble. And you know, that bad sciatic nerve today, just because of the words I said, is going to be the cause or the occasion of you're increasing the goodness of the world, because you have compassion for that person who has it, and you will be praying, and you'll be filling the earth with the goodness of compassion, with the communion of spirit with the person who is suffering. And so the earth will be filled with the goodness of the Lord. And I like that combination of words, because if we define evil, what is evil? Evil actually doesn't exist in its pure form on its own. It can only exist as the lack of good in something. So you pick up a beautiful looking piece of fruit like I did the other day in a mango grove. When the harvest was finished, there were some left over when I was coming back from Tel Kineret, and I put my hand on it and it was all gooey, and there were insects inside it, and it was half eaten by birds, and it was not nice. But the one side of the mango was very good. It looked great. It had good color, and I'm sure inside that part of the mango it was really still very good and probably safe, although I obviously didn't take it. But there was something wrong, so there was something missing. Evil is something missing. The criminal who is in the process of killing has instruments that are working very well. The gun is working very well, the knife is working very well, his fist is working very well, his eyes are coordinating with his hands. All that's working very well, but what's missing is the moral order of his actions. He is attacking somebody. And so there's evil happening because of the lack of goodness present. And that's because of his decision to lock out goodness. The earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. So that's our psalm today. And it's Psalm 33. And that line is from verse 5. And the opening line is, "Exalt you just in the Lord, praise from the upright is fitting. Give thanks to the Lord on the harp, with this 10-stringed lyre chant his praises." So you have somebody that had a terrible accident, and they're in hospital all tubed up and just coming out of unconsciousness or even coma. And they say the earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. And maybe they can't even open their eyes yet, but they hear people talking. And they realize they've been through something terrible, and yet they can say the earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. All of these tubes, who made them? All of the medical care, who studied so hard to provide it? The hospital structure, the laborers who built it? The ambulance workers who came on time to save my life and brought me in? The nurses, the first aid, the communications, the telephone companies that provide the services, the inventors who developed a cell phone and somebody was driving by at the scene of the accident when I fell off the cliff and alerted people, and the signal went out through a satellite in space. The earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord. For upright is the word of the Lord, and all his works are trustworthy. He loves justice and right. Of the kindness of the Lord, the earth is full. And it's extraordinarily full when his creatures who were built out of kindness and for kindness are kind. And when we're not kind, then there's something big missing. In a family, in a community, through all of our failings and faults. the kindness of the Lord the earth is full. What a vocation we have to complete creation, not only in the technological and the gardening and all of that, but especially the gardening of the heart, of the soul, of the mind. Many times our attention has to be drawn to this. How often a child has to be told. But also adults. We all need to be reminded. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. The Lord brings to naught the plans of nations. He foils the designs of peoples. And we have all this problem with Corona. And we think of the amazing air industry, the ability to create flight in the last 150 years, the efforts of humanity to fly, and the way that industry became so immense, and it was laid still almost in a moment. The Lord brings to naught the plans of nations. He foils the designs of peoples. You know, we had that line in Psalm 2. What does it say in Psalm 2? That the kings of the earth make their plans, and God, or He who sits in the heavens, laughs. And obviously, when that letter was written in the 1930s by Pope Pius XI, condemning Nazism, he used those lines at the beginning, and we see all that disaster that Hitler spearheaded, but combining lots of other disasters that went before. A horrible World War I, which had its own prehistory and its own post-history, as people did an unjust system of bringing back order in Europe after that First World War. And so many things combined, and the powder keg exploded under the leadership of Hitler. And then the culmination of all that process in concentration camps, extermination camps, and even within those camps, the sanctity that came, like in the middle of all these weeds, you got the morning glory. And there you have Maximilian Kolbe, Edith Stein, so many others. Or you go to Molokai, an island reserved for only lepers. And so much corruption, so much violence, so much despair. And there the flower of Damien, a Belgian young person extraordinarily blessed with a heart of kindness and charity. So no matter how bad the leper colony is, and the weeds and the sciatic nerves and the extermination camps, the incredible gift that's given to humanity in the development of those flowers in the desert, of that virtue and goodness in abundance, even where so much hatred and violence also abounds. The incredible call we have. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed when we started, because I was so distracted this morning, I didn't pay attention to the time I started. So if somebody has the opportunity to have noticed when exactly we started, if it was, I think it was by probably 6:20 by the time we started, but I'm not sure. Maybe a tad later. I just want to stay in my typical 28-minute range. Appreciate a little advice from anybody there. I thought we might go beyond this psalm, but the psalm is so incredibly powerful. I wanted to go to the readings, but that's okay. One line of scripture, one word of scripture can touch our hearts and fill us with understanding and with delight and with gratitude and with adoration. Thank you for the 27-minute tip. So I was basically on target there. Excellent. So people, you know, each of you is living in a house, a home, with others, neighbors, in landscapes. Lots invested in all of that, a lot of work, a lot of dedication. The earth is filled with the goodness of the Lord, all the food that's delivered to us from all over the world. May the Lord bless you. May you be one of those who multiply the goodness on the face of the earth, and who bring flowers into sad moments with your smile, with your kindness, with your care, with your love. Continue filling the earth with the goodness of the Lord. Have a very blessed day today. God bless you.